interview is part of a video series for the Startup Guide 2024 by Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy. And today we have Arushi, policy lead for Chainalysis, a data platform, blockchain data platform. We'll learn more about what Chainalysis does. Before we start, can you give us a bit of a background about yourself and how you ended up working at Chainalysis?
Thank you, Perik. It's a pleasure to be here. Like you said, I lead the policy function for Middle East and Africa at Chainalysis, which is a blockchain data analytics platform. As for me, I've been fortunate enough to have worked across a very wide range of roles. I'm a lawyer by profession. I started out by serving as a judge in India for a few years, so that was the government side of things. I moved on to being a legal advisor to a lot of tech companies back in 2017, 2018, when a lot of the space was evolving. I moved on to an international organization, the World Economic Forum, where I led their data and blockchain initiatives for a while.
Okay.
And from there on, as the policy bug kept biting more and more, I finally moved to Chainalysis to lead their policy for the region.
Very interesting. There's a lot of things happening in policy around blockchain, that's for sure. Can you briefly tell us about what Chainalysis does and what is the problem that you guys are looking to solve for the whole ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So we've been seeing a lot of blockchain and crypto adoption across the globe, whether it be to make financial services more efficient and transparent,
Yep.
whether it be to make our supply chains speedier, or even for markets like carbon credits. Crypto and blockchain are emerging as very viable solutions. More and more transactions are moving on the blockchain, which is inherently transparent, but not necessarily readable without the tools. So what you see on a blockchain are a bunch of numbers, alphanumeric characters, but you don't really know what's happening there. And that's where Chainalysis, a blockchain data analytics platform, comes into the picture. So we share a lot of data, research, we have tools, software, services that we share with our clients, which are again a wide range of spectrum. These are all government agencies, regulators, private sector, crypto asset service providers, even TradFi institutions, and we are present in almost 70 plus countries, and we power investigations, risk and compliance, and even market intelligence tools.
Okay.
So it's a very wide range of offerings that we
Yeah.
do for a very wide range of clients. At the end of it all, I think our mission, which is something Chainalysis is very, very actively engaged with, is to build trust in blockchains.
Yes, which is a tough one to crack. Can you give us a timeline of some of Chainalysis' major milestones?
2024 is actually Chainalysis's 10-year anniversary.
Congrats.
We incorporated in 2014, back when I think our CEO, Michael Groniger, he wrote up the code for the data platform to investigate the Mt. Gox case, one of the really high-profile cases in the
Yes.
crypto community. And that's where it all really started. And today we are a company that's present across the globe. Like I said, we work across a range of clients, across a range of solutions. We've been very fortunate to have supported some very high-profile crypto crime cases, such as the Silk Road case, or even more recently the Axie Infinity hack, where we collaborated with law enforcement as well as private sector to retrieve a large sum of money. And if I have to talk closer to home, closer to the region, we've actually been present here for a few years now. We've been working very closely with governments, policymakers, regulators, and the private sector to not just be a technology service provider, but also in our capacity of sharing knowledge and capacity building as much as we can. I think it was in 2022 when we signed a partnership with the Ministry of AI and Digital Economy and the remote work applications. It was to establish a center of excellence where we were given the mandate to upskill government employees in blockchain tech. And very recently, in just May 2024, we had a partnership. We've entered into a partnership, and that's still ongoing, with Emirates NBD, one of the region's largest bank, which is we are now a part of the Digital Assets Lab, where we hope to do some really fun stuff together to see how TradFi and crypto intersects, and how we make it better for users and customers in the most transparent fashion.
Very interesting.
So yeah, and that's really when we established our HQ as well, our regional HQ in May of 2024.
Okay. Are you guys working very closely with regulatory bodies like government to work as an expert in the space to help them draft or recommend or feedback on policies that they are drafting?
Yeah, so to give you a bit of a background, Chainalysis is one of the, and I'm a bit biased of course, but I think Chainalysis has one of the best policy teams anywhere in the domain.
Okay.
We are a very strong team and we cover all regions of the world, from APAC to MEA to Europe to Americas. Yeah. We have our representatives everywhere. And as a part of the policy team, one of our roles is to work very closely, like you mentioned, with regulators and policymakers, where we share data and insights to showcase how on-chain data could be the missing link to look at the markets in a much more transparent, in a much more comprehensive manner. We also work with them, especially as needed, to make recommendations about frameworks, whether it be around AML, whether it be about consumer protection or even market integrity. So we work across different domains in terms of what could or what could not work, keeping into view the kind of data we are seeing. So our approach is very data driven, whether it be on the solution side or even on the policy side, as we work with some of the public sector stakeholders. And I think that's what we bring to the table in terms of the right data, the most accurate data.
Yeah, people love data.
We do as well.
And at least you can't argue. Data is data. It shows. The move to, so you talked about when you set up in Dubai, so that move came about almost 3 years after you started operating and expanding into the country. What led Chainalysis to eventually settle in Dubai and set up the regional HQ here?
Yeah, so again, I'll go back to the data, but we feel that UAE market is at quite a tipping point. Some of our data does suggest that a majority of the crypto activity that we've seen in the country can be attributed to institution-sized transfers. So these are large transfers. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of interest from very different ecosystem players who want to come set up here and want to be a part of this growing crypto hub that's emerging, right? Yeah. So for us, it was then a natural choice to consider Dubai as our regional HQ as we worked across a diverse set of players, but also, like I mentioned, to serve Dubai and the broader UAE market, but also the more emerging and fast growth areas beyond UAE, which are the broader Middle East markets, African markets, Central Asia, as well as South Asia, where we are very active, especially, for example, in India. So we were, I think the diverse ecosystem and the fact that Dubai has been an innovation hub and an emerging crypto hub has been quite vital for us to finally make the decision to establish it.
Okay. So your remit is GCC, or the Middle East as a whole, and then all of Africa?
Yes, so it's Middle East, Africa, Central Asia,
and
so South Asia as well.
Okay, so it's a big regional HQ.
It's big.
Okay. How has the Dubai startup ecosystem supported Chainalysis? What were the government incentives or support that you were provided from Dubai, whether that is the city, the government, any of the digital economy pushing strategies that have helped Chainalysis in its setup process here in the city?
Yeah. So I think what's been really great about setting up in Dubai has been that it has a variety of options that we could look at before deciding where to really register. And we finally locked into registering onshore, and we wanted to set up in DWTC, which is a very strategic location where we have a lot of crypto companies and even the broader ecosystem setting up there. So that's what we did by obtaining a business permit. In terms of the processes, I think we were again very happy with the process in terms of, from the start of the application to the reviews, everything was done in a very efficient, very expedited manner. And we were also very glad with the kind of support we were able to get from the local advisors, which is, again, in a lot of ways, a consequence of the ecosystem that's been built out, because we were able to get the best of advice. So overall, easy, transparent, and really glad we finally chose Dubai as our HQ for the region.
How significant has the establishment of the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, so VARA, been for the blockchain and crypto industry? Has this been instrumental for Chainalysis as well?
Yeah, so VARA, the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, is very unique in the sense that it's likely the world's first and probably the only standalone regulator for the virtual asset space, which means it has brought a lot of clarity to the ecosystem, and it has attracted a lot of new and traditional economy players to come and innovate in the system. And that's been really vital for us, especially as we try and work across different players, right? We're not catering to one specific category of crypto players, we're actually working with all of them, and that's where Chainalysis really thrives. So with VARA bringing in this regulatory clarity and the diverse ecosystem players, that's been a very important factor for us in establishing our HQ in Dubai. And we've been working with VARA closely. We really appreciate their very progressive, collaborative, forward-looking approach to how a regulatory environment should evolve, and we are very glad to have been leveraging that to also build effective partnerships with a lot of leading players in the region.
We did another report for Consensus last year where we looked at regulations. You were talking about, VAR bringing clarity. And when you're looking across the world, like the number of countries, or even where you've got, what is it in Europe, MiCA?
MiCA in Europe, yes.
Which is good, not the worst compared to other countries. But like even the thing with the SEC and Ethereum as a security, and I mean the lack of clarity is definitely
it's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge for businesses, especially who want to be regulated. Right? And there are a lot of them in the mix now. Bigger players, financial institutions would not touch the sector if they weren't sure that there are enough compliances built into the system. They have a huge reputational challenge if they just venture into a system that does not have any regulatory support at all. Okay. So the clarity has been really key in getting people here.
And it impacts a lot of things like innovation, for example. It's an inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, so there are two arguments to innovation, right? One is, it hampers innovation because now there is the cost of compliance and, to make sure you have to run in a certain manner, which is true, but I think the mark of maturity of a market is when we have a very diverse ecosystem. And I know I keep saying that again, but it's just such an important factor to have a lot of players, right? Crypto natives, but also traditional financial players, or even players like who are doing carbon credit markets. When all of these together kind of adopt blockchain and crypto into their solutions, or innovate with new solutions, that's when you will see overall the market growing and maturing. And regulations, fortunately or unfortunately, are really key to that maturity.
True. Dubai has set its sight to becoming a digital economy capital of the world by the end of this decade, so 2030, I think it was. And has opened its borders with different kind of visa, whether that is the green, nomad, and the golden visa, and various initiatives to attract advanced technology companies such as yourself, and talent to set roots in the Emirates. Have these been instrumental for attracting talent at Chainalysis since you set up here?
Yeah, like
Operating.
I said, our reasons for establishing our regional HQ in Dubai were very strategic.
Yeah.
One of them definitely being that this is a very conducive economic environment and we see a lot of innovation taking place. It is emerging as a very good crypto hub, even a financial hub for that matter, which undoubtedly brings a lot of global talent to the region. And I think that has allowed Chainalysis to then recruit and work with very professional, very specialized individuals, again, across the domain. This would be crypto natives, people who are really good at Web3 work, but also people from a TradFi background or compliance backgrounds who are equally important in doing what we do. So very proud to say we have a strong team on the ground, hopefully expanding, and every one of us are from different nationalities, from very different backgrounds. Yes. We are such a melting pot of ideas, and I think that's what makes it a truly unique position to be in.
Yeah, Dubai is good for that.
Dubai is amazing for that.
Yeah, the multicultural aspect is.
Exactly.
We were talking about it with Nader from DFDF yesterday or 2 days ago, and that's what he was saying as well. Like he's Emirati, so he's grown up here, and he's seen, like in the last 10 years, how things have evolved so quickly.
True.
Like the infrastructure, the maturity, the diversity, and more. When you travel, when you talk to people that don't live in Dubai, they're like, "Oh, Dubai!" They're really interested. Everyone wants to move here for various reasons. But
no, it's a great environment. I mean, and I don't mean just the weather, which hopefully is improving, but just the people and the fact that you get to meet. You don't have to travel half the world to meet so many nationalities, right? You'll get them all here in Dubai.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It is very interesting. What are the opportunities and advantages that Dubai has in its attempt to become the place to launch startups? Whether that is compared to other countries, other regions, for example. And then this is from your standpoint, from what you've seen so far. And do you believe that Dubai has all the right things in place to be a global hub for the digital asset and blockchain industry specifically?
The short answer is yes. It does have all the ingredients. But if you want a longer answer, I would probably put it under 3 buckets. One, as we mentioned, the regulatory clarity, thanks to WARA, or even the other financial free zones like the IFC or ADGM,
they have their own thing,
or just the UAE government in general. They've been really promoting the tech in a way to ensure that there are enough regulatory safeguards and guardrails in place. So regulatory clarity has been key. Aside from that, as we discussed, global talent, the fact that you can meet so many different people with such great specializations in one place is obviously a great factor for any business to come set up in Dubai, including digital assets or digital economy businesses. And finally, which has been true for a really long time, is that Dubai has a great strategic location, and it has amazing connectivity with the rest of the world, especially with the region, right? Africa, Middle East, broader region, Central Asia, South Asia for us. So that really helps, and it has a world-class infrastructure. It's got amazing infrastructure that we all like to leverage day in and day out. So I think all of those things put together, including the fact that the government is very focused on making it a digital financial crypto hub, it all works in our favor.
What's next for Chainalysis? Where are they going in the next few years? If you want to talk about it, of course. Is there anything that you guys are willing to share at this stage on where you're going? What are the priorities for you?
Well, the priority remains making sure we grow in the region for sure. You will see the team expanding. You will see us working more and more closely with all aspects of the ecosystem. And when I say working, I don't just mean from a technology solutions point of view, but also being integrated into the knowledge building, the capacity building
Yeah.
side of things. So we're very excited about that. We're very committed to the region, so we're in for the long haul.
Yeah.
And generally, for everyone who works with crypto, please do your own research, keep the market safe. It's a very interesting time for the crypto ecosystem, and we're very excited of where it's going to land next.
Very nice. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Perek.
If you enjoyed this content, continue listening or watching to future episodes where we speak to many of Dubai's startup founders, investors, and digital economy and startup ecosystem enablers. Also, the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy has published an annual startup guide to help answer any questions you may have on how to register and start a company in Dubai. Download the guide now at the Dubai Chamber of Digital Economy website.